How to Be a Successful Black Man, a book written by Dr. Daniel LaRoche. It's an easy read and a great book for families, kids, grandkids, nieces, and nephews to help give pearls for success. Available for purchase online on Amazon and more. I got mine. Go get yours. Link is in the description.
Welcome to another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. I'm your brother, Old God, from Hip Hop News Uncensored. Sitting across from me is my co-host.
What up, y'all? It's your man, Sam Ant Viral. Hip Hop News. Like my cousin said, man, we're in the building for another edition of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. We got a special guest back in the motherfucking building. Our man from the Wu.
You already know.
Hey, man, feel like we know you by now, even though we had a little bit of technical difficulties last week, man. Sorry about that. For the people who don't know, we had Inspectah Deck in the building last week.
Yeah.
Shit was fire. And technical difficulties, man.
They didn't want us to drop that bomb, man.
It was coming. It was coming. But we got him nuked up, ready for y'all again, man. And we got the brother back on. Appreciate him coming back on today. Y'all hit that 5-star rating and like button, man. So let's get right to it, man. I think O was asking you before we got caught off a couple days ago about how you started, man, in New York with the legendary Wu Tang Clan, living in Staten Island, man. So can you just take us back and the people back to how it all started?
Yeah, man. For those who don't know the story, man, Inspectah Deck, I grew up. First and foremost, I was born in the Bronx, Kingsbridge section, Bronx Lebanon Hospital. I lived there until I was 10. Moved to Staten Island. Bronx was rough. Them burnt out buildings, 70s Bronx and all that. I lived through the middle of that. Came to Staten Island. Staten Island was off to the side, but, it had its own little spark, its own little thing going on for me growing up. And, a lot of us went to school together, as far as myself, Raekwon, U-God, Meth came later, Ghostface. We all know each other. Our neighborhoods is like right next door to each other. RZA, Dirty, they family, they would come from Brooklyn to see RZA at RZA's house. My experience meeting RZA was, I got into a rap battle neighborhood on Staten Island called New Brighton, man. They some goons over there. Mm-hmm. I got into a rap battle like 5-on-1. It was 1-on-1 at first, and they started passing the mics coming through. I'm representing from Park Hill. I'm by myself. And moral of the story, I got jumped. RZA was DJing, but I held myself down. It's 5-on-1. Not much you can do. But, I still hung out in the hood and all that. He came to me. He was like, yo, I like how you, held your square at the time. He's like, yo, I do beats. I do this, that, and the third. Come see me. So I was like, yeah, all right. That's what's up. I wasn't really taking rhyming that serious at the time. Mm-hmm. I was still getting my little mediocre hustle on, you know what I'm saying? But, fucking with Meth, U-God, on a daily basis, we would just throw little jabs at each other with our rhymes. It helped me to really get it together. And RZA and Capadonna were the ones who really gave me some jewels as far as how to write. You know what I'm saying? So, and at first, RZA wasn't feeling my shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm. It was like, I had a lot of words and things like that, but it wasn't really hitting. So, I always had to go back to the drawing board dealing with RZA. Meth and U-God thought my shit was tight, tight enough though I was like, I'll keep on writing because like I said, I ain't take it serious at first. And, just growing up, RZA used to be in our hood. So we kind of knew everybody without knowing. We knew family, RZA's family lived in my hood, even though he lived in the hood next door with Ghost. So it's like, we were still all family in a sense. So, coming together was just us hanging out so much. You know what I'm saying? Always at RZA's house. Me and Meth, U-God come down there, Ray be down there, RZA, Dirty come from Brooklyn. So enough of that. RZA decided, hey, man, we're going to put this plan in action. Got a situation that, if your brothers is interested, let me know what's up. And at that time, he was on Cold Chillin'. He was on Warner Brothers. RZA was on Cold Chillin'. And, they had certain situations go south with their deals. So this was like a redemption thing for them. You know what I'm saying? Like they had all the industry knowledge and all that. So, us coming fresh off the streets, we kind of just jumped on the bus and let them steer it. But, it's like, it just formed, We didn't say one day we're gonna make a group or we're gonna make a record. Wu Tang was a word that Ghost and them niggas used to use to say shit was fly. Yo, that shit's Wu. That shit's Wu Tang, because they were like the rebels of the martial arts movies that we used to watch growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like, it just kind of gelled together. Then on top of that, a lot of our mothers knew each other's mothers. They go way, families go way back to when they was 15, 16. So, it was like natural, man.
No doubt, no doubt. Now I heard you say in one interview that you knew Wu-Tang was destined for greatness. Can you talk about that statement and how you know like this was going to be special?
Yeah, man. You feel it, man. You feel it, because before Wu-Tang, me and Meth used to go up to the Bronx and rock with my man Funky G and his brother Spec. And, these is cats that we grew up, listening to around the way. They would throw the block parties and all that. So when they got into production, me and Meth used to go up there and just check them out, like, see what they're working with, because they was funky, coming up in the streets with the block parties. But, they was more tuned into like an R&B type of thing, where it wasn't bad. It just wasn't what we was looking for. So, we just decided, hey, man, we're going to give that up. Hey, you want to go check RZA out? You know what I'm saying? And it was like that first day, man. That first day when everybody was together under the roof. And we had the banged up mic. The mic had dents in it and all that. And RZA's mom had kicked us out the house. So we was just all on the balcony. And I just remember everybody kicking their rhymes, like one by one in the cypher, and it was like, you feel that, like, yo, I've been around so many people that rhyme, bro. But when you hear certain people rhyme and the energy come off them, like to see Dirty do what he do, and he got his dance step and he's doing his Tai Chi with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, RZA is coming straight with the H bomb. There's no games. There's no whole lot of punchlines and things like that. Meth come with the punchlines. He's witty. Meth is Ali on the back pedal, hitting you with the jab. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, everybody was just superhero type shit. I think that's where all our names came like that. Raekwon the Chef, the Method Man, the RZA, the Jizza, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like some Justice League shit. And I just felt it, man. And Ray said it too. Like, he was like, yo, he said, I know Wu-Tang is something that the people want to hear because I want to hear it. And that's how I felt. Like, yo, I want to hear our shit, like when it's done.
Absolutely. Now, I think I was about 10 years old, 93, when the records really started dropping for you guys. I think METHOD Man came out, Bring the Ruckus, Wu-Tang Clan, None to Fuck with Cream. We all know the legendary hits. But it wasn't until 97, bro, I ain't even gonna lie to you, when Triumph came out. And my cousin will attest to this because we used to sit back in our grandma and grandpa's house, and it was something called the box. I don't know if you remember the box.
The box, yeah, I remember the box.
Do you remember? Well, Triumph was 416. I'll never forget that shit, because we used to call and get that song on. And if I could go ahead back and remember why I started really loving hip hop, it was in 97 for real. And it was your verse when you came off of Old Dirties, I Bomb Atomically, Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses can't define what I be dropping these mockeries lyrically before it. I remember this shit like it was yesterday, bro. Can you talk about Triumph and GZA? I want to talk about GZA as well, because when you said that GZA, and I've heard this before, that he was just kind of like that cerebral mastermind behind a lot of what happened between Wu-Tang. Did he have any influence over that verse? And talk about writing Triumph.
In a way, yeah. It's like indirectly he did influence me on that verse. But as far as Triumph goes, man, we put out a group a while ago called Killer Army. It was RZA's, family, younger brother, and his little crew. They was actually good. Killer Army and Sons of Man, But Killer Army had a rapper named Killer Sin who's locked up right now. Me and Killer Sin had took part in Tony Touch's 52 MCs tape. It's one of his classic mixtapes, man. Y'all could look that up on YouTube as well. Tony Touch 52 MCs. I had said that verse Triumph on Tony Touch 52 MCs. And, it got a buzz all through the underground, things of that nature. And when RZA was making that beat, he made that beat like 3 a.m. you know, we had came off the road, came to the house. A lot of brothers was resting. You know, a couple of cats didn't make it there yet, so it was still like 3, 4 in the morning. I'm listening to him lay the drums. I'm listening to him, you know, put the voice in there, the ooh, doing all that, like, you know, and I'm listening to how he's structuring it. He's plugging in new instruments that he never used. Like, that's one thing about him. He don't care. It don't matter the instrument. He'll take whatever, plug it in, and just make what he can make on it. You know what I'm saying? Using free hand, and you know, as he's putting it together, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And I'm saying rhymes in my head, and that rhyme came to me. So I called Tony Touch up, man. Much respect to Tony Touch. I was like, yo, you know, growing up hip hop for me was like, not only could you have ghostwriters and be biting, you know, and shit like that, but you know, you couldn't say the same rhyme twice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? Let me call Touch and see what Touch think about it. And he was like, yo, I give you the blessings, man. That's one of my favorite rhymes ever. One of my favorite on the tape. Like, yo, you got my blessing to do it, because I didn't want to like shortchange him. I want everybody to know, like, yeah, I did that for Touch, you know. When he gave me the word to do it, I did it like 4 in the morning. So when brothers came through, by the time, you know, the next day, like, you know, by the time everybody come through, RZA's playing the shit, everybody hear that verse, everybody's just bugging like, this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, there you go again with that shit. So it was just more or less like, man, I felt the vibe as he was making it. And I was like, you know, all the rhymes, I could have wrote a million rhymes to it, but I just felt like that one right there described like the mood of that beat. It felt like a triumph, you know?
One of the greatest verses of all time. And I appreciate sitting back, listening, and talking to the orchestrator of it, man. Thank you, brother.
Definitely.
Man, I appreciate that, man.
Now, competition, I want to talk to you about that. Or you, was it ever like a heightened level of friendly competition between you guys when somebody would come in and drop a verse, like, you know what, I gotta outdo this? I'm sure that probably would make. But go ahead, yeah, speak on that.
Yeah, bro, it's the X-Men danger room when you step in the area with these dudes, man. You know, yeah, arm get blown off. You know what I'm saying? A lot of friendly fire going back and forth, but for real with us, it was really friendly fire. It wasn't, you know, I'm trying to outdo you or I'm trying to outshine you on this. You know we sound good together, so you know we can sound cohesive and be in unison on the track. You know, that's all we cared about. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, you know, sometimes it's like, yo, damn, you heard that shit Ray said? I'm talking to Meth. Meth like, yo, Ray killed that. Yui like, yo, I got something for that. You know, so you guys like, I got my shit though. And, you know, it makes you want to hit your pen harder. It makes you want to go hard at the track. You know, a lot of people ask me the set it off question. Like, yo, he's the illest set it off dude in rap, and he's the illest set it off. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm one of the illest motherfuckers, period, bro. That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to go toe to toe with anybody on any track, dog, I feel confident in myself. I don't care what the name is. You know what I'm saying? That's like, you know, you step in the boxing ring, bro. You know that this dude might have knocked his last 10 opponents out.
Mm-hmm.
But you ain't going in there thinking that you can get knocked out. You going in there thinking like, yo, I'm about to end his streak. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, that's the way I look at all this. You know what I'm saying? Like, to set it off just means like, yo, I'll be ready a lot of times. When I was younger, I used to carry the books on me before the cell phones was hot. You had to write shit down. You know what I mean? I come from that era where you use the pen and shit like that. So, you know, I'm jotting thoughts down. I'm just catching little this, that, and the third. Next thing you know, this is MC Wizardry, Killer Bee Invasion, Men of Respect, blessed with wisdom of the ancients. My words are blatant, you know, like I rap for the rap. I rap for the MC. I rap for the culture of it, man. I'm fortunate enough to make money off it, feed my family, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, from the heart of it, I feel like the skill makes you feel more proud. When you're skilled at something, you know, you practice, you came from you know, you couldn't even use the saw right, but now you done took down 12 trees in a day. You know,
Mhm.
like that's how I felt with it. Like I came from the grain with it, earned my name, didn't have the hip hop upbringing. Like, you know, like I didn't know DJ Clue back in '94. I didn't team up with Flex in '96. You know, like I came up pretty much single handed in this outside of my brothers.
Mhm.
So, you know, I wear the crown a little different than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what it takes to be the GOAT and what it takes to be all that, man. I feel like when you talk about the art form itself, and you talk about the music, hip hop, the feel, the mood, the expression, I feel like I'm up there with the GOATs. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter how many record sales. You know, you got people in the Hall of Fame in every sport that might have never won the ring,
Yeah.
but they was essential to the team winning. You know, and that's how I feel. Like whenever you mention Wu Tang, you gonna mention Inspectah Deck, and Wu Tang is gonna be here when I'm gone, bro.
Indeed, indeed. Can you talk about all of you guys got solo albums? All of you guys at one point or another became solo artists. Was that always in the plan, or is that something that came along the way through success?
Nah, that was part of the plan from the beginning, man. That we team up, you know, and then you know, during the process of being a group, we would get these individual deals. And you know, for the most part, you know, I think a good 70% of it came through. You know what I'm saying? Some brothers had to wait longer than others and things of that nature, but you know, everybody came through, signed as a group, and everybody had the opportunity to do their solo album, man. So it was the beginning of that era. Because you know, right after that, you know, I believe Dipset did the same type of move. You know, we got that from New Edition. You know, when New Edition came as a group, and then they branched off Bobby, and you got, you know, uh, uh, um, Bonnie, you know, the 3-man group. I forget the name of it. That y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Bell
BBD.
Biv DeVoe, yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
know, same idea came from that type of thinking. You know, come together as a group, branch off as individuals, and you know, we come back when it's time to do the group thing. So you know, for the most part, man, you know, it was a great situation to take at the time, coming from where we was coming from. You know, most of us was hustling, coming home from jail, things of that nature, bro. You know, some of us was working 9 to 5 jobs, so you know, other niggas was out there in the streets doing what they do. Um, but you know, the idea as a whole, you know, I give credit to RZA, man, and his way of thinking, how he saw it at the time, and you know, to have faith in me to be like, yo, you know, there's a million rappers out there, bro. There's dudes in his hood that he could have grabbed. You know, I'm from the opposite hood that was going to war with these dudes every day too. At that, so
Yeah.
you know, for to be chosen in the mix of that, you know, it means that you are chosen. You know, and so you know, I respect the brothers for seeing that in me, and then you know, as far as my career and my music. You know, I don't make the huge records that's gonna get the hot 5 at 9, the hot 9 at 5. You know, I don't do that.
Mhm.
But I make that music for the listener, man. Like Rakim said, you know, for those who have an ear for this, like who love the technique of rhymes being used, who love the fact of, you know, the beat may have some hard drums. The beat don't always have to be
Mhm.
100% cooked and glazed and dressed up nice. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can just have a drum track and you have somebody just going in and you feel their soul. Like, you know, you feel that they coming from the gut and it's hitting you in your gut. You know, like that's hip hop to me, bro. Like hip hop is not the shit they force down your throat on the radio
Right.
24/7, you know?
No doubt. What's your fondest memory of ODB? You don't mind me asking.
Oh man, see, yeah, my relationship with ODB was different in the clan. You know what I'm saying? I was like his voice of reason. You know what I'm saying? And he hated that shit. It was more or less like I knew when he's about to do some dumb shit or do some crazy shit or wild out or whatever it was. But, you know, when I get him on the one-on-ones, I'm telling him, listen, bro, like, you know, you got the greatest opportunity out there. I'm trying to earn my name still. I'm Inspectah Deck from the Wu Tang Clan, but they don't really know me yet. You know what I'm saying? They out there for you, bro. They embrace you. They love you. Give them something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm that dude. Like, take advantage of the moment. You know what I'm saying? You know, when Dirty's like, man, I want to hear that shit, bro. I want to hear that Malcolm X shit. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, my wildest memory of him, man.
Inspectah Deck from the Wu Tang Clan, man, on this great interview of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast this afternoon. And we were talking about Old Dirty, man. If you don't mind for the people, because it was a little distorted, you were talking about the story where he just grabbed a new whip and he was doing some wild stuff. Can you share that for the people again, if you don't mind?
Yeah. It was there was a time when we had just got paid off the second album, and Dirt Dog went and brought him a 600 Benz, a Money Green 600. It was nice, you know. We was in Manhattan. He was just zipping up and down the block, throwing the keys to everybody, letting everybody test drive it. And you know, later on that night, man, he had got twisted. And, you know, he was driving the car on the sidewalk full speed in Manhattan, bro, just wilding. Like, you know, you from New York, you know, you don't drive no car in the middle of Midtown on the sidewalk. You know, just you asking for the cuffs, you know what I'm saying? But he just wilded out, crashed the car, wrapped the car, you know, on the sidewalk, got out the car, cracked his 40, kept it moving, walked off, and just left the car there like it wasn't his, you know? And that's what type of character Dirty was, you know? Like, he's on the train tomorrow. I'm taking the train back home that night. So, you know, and I was saying, like, you know, me and his relationship, I was more like the you know, I was the voice of reason to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, more of like knowing when he gonna wild out, knowing if he about to swing on somebody, things of that nature. Just trying to get him to, you know, curb his enthusiasm a little bit. You know what I mean? And understand his position in the game. You know, these people love him. You're able to get money, put your music out. You know, take advantage of it, bro. We come from nothing. You know what I'm saying? And like, don't blow the opportunity. I was that dude. You know, and sometimes you don't want to hear that. You know, but it's what you need to hear at the same time. You know, rest in peace to my brother. You know, he was a very smart, intelligent person that schooled me on a lot of, you know, what to look out for when I'm coming in the game and doing these deals with these people. Like, you know, don't let them tell you shit. You know, you tell them what you want. You know, just basically lay your own laws. And, you know, and I had to take that with me. You know, when I found out that he passed away, bro, you know, I was stuck for a couple of days because I was just like, I know in my heart, like, damn, you know, if I could have did anything, I know that I tried. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, you know, for the most part, man, you know, I use his life as a blessing in my life as well. Like, you know, I never was heavy on drugs anyway, but, you know, it made me refrain from doing a lot of wild things I used to do. Like, you know, I don't drink. I'm not a beer drinker. I don't drink nearly as much alcohol as I used to, you know, coming up in the game. So, you know, it allowed me to kind of put the brakes on my life and start doing things to better my health, you know.
Right. Now, you were talking about a little bit how you were saying of Old Dirty that like you're already made it, your name is already solidified. Inspectah Deck of the Wu Tang Clan, I'm attempting to still put my name in those lights in that situation. Did that ever make you feel some kind of way when you look at a Ghostface, Raekwon, Meth? You got all these household names, but it seemed like you and a couple other fellas seemed like they were kind of flying under the radar.
To me, to the public, I could see how they would see it like that. But to me, I'm a household name too. That's how I look at it.
Word up. Word up.
I didn't really have the career solo that they had, but at the same time, you know, as I said, you know, one man's success can't be measured to another man's. You know what I'm saying? Your success is measured by what you have done in your travels, in your time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not meant to be a Ghostface. I'm not meant to be a Method Man. I'm meant to be Inspectah Deck. And my level of success may not match theirs, but it's success nonetheless, you know, coming from where I come from. Now, you know, for me, I was never the type to sell my personality. Like when I was coming up in this, I stayed out the camera's way. Like I was always playing the back, like, you know, letting everybody else talk, because I was still fresh off the block. Like, you know, I was still having fresh charges and seeing parole when we was coming through in the beginning. So, you know, I just was like trying to stay off the radar like that. You know, and in the process, though, you know, when you talk, like I said, Wu Tang, you got to speak my name. I just was like, you know, as far as I'm trying to do it, bro, I don't want to be the greatest rapper of all time, but I want these dudes to remember me. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember that, yo, he's one of the illest to ever touch the mic. And that's how we listen to hip hop growing up, you know, having debates on who's better, you know, Bismarck or Big Daddy Kane or this one or that one. And, you know, like right now, like when they talk about this genre of music 20 years from now, they still going to be talking about like, yo, you know, Deck was my favorite in the clan. Deck is the most underrated. I'm only underrated because I haven't put out a commercial hit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I was never really looking for that. I always made like mood music. I made what I felt at the time. You know, like there's times when I felt like cash rules everything around me, you know, and then there's other times where I felt like elevation, where, you know, you're tired of the same old shit. You want to elevate to a place past all this, you know, just, I never was afraid to jump out the box. You know, I got songs like The Stereotype and shit like that. Like you could Google that. Mm-hmm. You know, I never was afraid to do what I was feeling, you know what I'm saying? It may not have been the popular thought, but, you know, that's not what I was doing for. I'm not, like I said, I'm not looking to be Nino Brown, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm able to hustle and eat on this block, and I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm hustling, I'm eating off this block. Now, you know, you got some dudes that they'll get the thirst or the urge to want to take over the block. You know what I'm saying? And with that come repercussions, bro. Like, I never looked at myself as wanting to be the most gangster rapper, the richest, with all the ice, things of that nature. Like, I just was like, yo, I'm making music for the people like me that grew up like me, you know, listening to the Awesome Two, Special K and Teddy Ted, you know, WHBI, that's New York City, you know, Stretch and Bobito, making them tapes, you know, pause button tapes and things of that nature. Like that's a whole culture before everybody was getting money. Like if you let social media tell it, bro, nobody got issues right now, man. Everybody's rich. Everybody got haters. I want to be you. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't driving this, you ain't driving. If you ain't wearing this, you ain't rocking nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's letting everybody else put the standard on them, you know. And then the ones who come out and do create their own standard, we look at them as they weird, they strange, because they not conforming to the norm. Like, you know, there's a lot of shit in society is backwards, bro. But you know, you can't, you know, who are you to change it? Like, you know what I'm saying? All you can do is just spark the ones who listen to you, who you know, for me. People respect my words all the way out to Croatia. You know, I can run into somebody in Croatia that know my album word for word, can't speak no English. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, I've done my job touching people, bro. Like my reach goes far. Am I this? It's like I'm Marvin. When Smokey was telling everybody to shop around on Motown, mm-hmm. You know, Smokey Robinson told his mama told him you better shop around. Marvin was out there talking about stop the war. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, what's happening, brother? What's going on? Sexual healing. Like he made them songs that touched the people. He didn't put a standard on you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of where music is right now, bro. Like if you don't look or sound or you don't have the personality of a certain prototype for whatever genre it is, they're reluctant to sign you. You know, they want to sign you when you're buzzing for yourself, when you have the machine behind you, pretty much YouTube views and, you know, streams of your own work, and they'll get behind you with a 360 and say, yeah, we'll put our hand in your pocket.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You know, we'll get you out there, we get you love and light, but we getting the cut of everything, even if we ain't do it. You know, even if you brought it to the table. So, you know, the whole culture has changed, bro. Like, you know, we sold shit out the trunk, you know. Nipsey Hussle sold his shit on Crenshaw out the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when people want your shit, they'll buy it. They'll come get it no matter where it's at. So you don't gotta, you know, to the young artists, you ain't gotta break your neck as far as feeling like you gotta get on. You know, you gotta create your own buzz though, for sure. You know, create your own buzz. They'll come looking for you.
No doubt. Now, I was reading an article on Vice, and apparently the Wu Tang Clan was under FBI investigation and by the New York Police Department. Did you ever know about that? Or did you know at the time that you guys, you know, were pretty much the subject of an FBI investigation?
Yeah, bro. Me, myself, I'm good. I'm not sweating no bullets. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I know that the feds been watching what we do for years. And, you know, I know that they listen to the conversation. So,
mm-hmm.
you know, I'm good because I don't know nothing.
Word.
I don't know nothing, don't want to know nothing. You know, INS take care of his family, take care of his kids, take care of his loved ones. I keep a small circle around me, you know, and I ain't into no foul play. You know, a brother turned 50, fortunate enough to be this year. And, you know, life is good on a different side of things, you know, like,
yes, sir.
I ain't got no time for that, bro.
Indeed. Now, the man RZA, a lot of people give him a lot of criticism. A lot of your group mates, and I don't say a lot, some of your group mates have came out and give criticism in the past. Do you think that criticism was justified and warranted given everything that's happened and everything that you see is developed now? Or how do you feel about the criticism given to your brother RZA?
Yeah, RZA take a lot of heat, bro. I will say that. RZA take a lot. RZA, and the reason why I sympathize with it sometimes is because I know that he'll take the heat for some shit that he ain't even got nothing to do, or it doesn't directly translate to him. You know what I'm saying? But he's the face of everything, so he kind of gets the blame. You know, and then for what he is responsible for the most part, you know, he sticks to his guns. So, you know, all I can say is, you know, I got love and respect for my brother always, you know, over any money or any possession or anything of that nature. And any disagreement that I will have with him, you know, he knows, because we've had plenty of disagreements. But even if I'm on fire about something, bro, I'm coming to him. We gonna have that conversation. I may flip the table. I may throw something. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We both might be at each other's throats. But one thing I refrain from was putting my business, personal and business-wise, for the public to pick apart. You know what I'm saying? And to make their own judgment of things. Right now, people don't know enough about me to make any type of judgment. Like, oh, he's the humble one. He's the quiet one. He this, that. Like, my rap sheet is the longest in the clan. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm humble for a reason. I don't want the bracelets back on.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. I'm cool on jail. I seen all that at a young age. I did a lot. I'm jaded in a lot of areas. A lot of these things don't impress me. The things that people chase and sacrifice their life for don't really impress me like that. I've seen that. I was pulling up to high school at 18 with Jeeps and all types of cars, stolen, rented, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, through my childhood, like, that's why I'm like, bro, I I could pull up to the party in a Ford Focus, dog. You know what I'm saying? Or Ferrari. The Ferrari ain't gonna make me feel no better than what I'm already feeling.
Yeah.
So I'm jumping out the Ford, like, what up? You know, straight up, like. So people put a lot of worship in a lot of idols, man. Like I don't live my life like that. I don't live materialistic. I don't have a bunch of things to keep up with. I keep my area. I keep my life pretty simple, pretty frugal. You know what I'm saying? I take care of people, some who deserve it, some who don't. But God will give you that blessing just for doing what you know is right. You know what I'm saying? I learned that through life. Growing up as a knucklehead, you don't take things into account. You don't hear what Nana said and all that. Until later on. So, that's how I feel like these kids is out here now. Like, ain't nobody giving them no jewelry, man. No mental jewelry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Wu Tang brand right now, is that still tied up? And do you guys still need permission? Like, what's the status on the brand? Can it still be used? Do you guys need permission? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's another thing too, right? What you just said, like, I had to learn a long time ago that this is a business. Although we brothers and this is a brotherhood, there was a time where I leaned on the brotherhood side of things more than the business and didn't understand why certain things would happen. I didn't understand why my album took so long to come out, yet I was from day one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't understand why this person is going to get this amount of money, but this person's getting that. There were certain questions that was left on the board, and I was just like, yo, just listening to everything, like, it made you just wonder, start questioning. So it's like, for me, I do everything according to the business of it. You know what I'm saying? And it started with me a long time ago, after a few other members decided to leave the management and leave the production company. There was only a few of us still there, and there wasn't really no action happening. And, I was one of those people that was there. So I decided, listen, man, I'm not going to sit around and wait for something to come to me. I'm gonna go get it right there while I see it. And so I made my move to get out of the management and production company agreements, and in the process, I learned that, I hastily signed an agreement that was for 9 years, whether or not I agree to participate or not. They had the option to renew. And you start learning those type of things. And, it forced me to, I put 2 albums out. You count 3 if you want to count this last one. You know what I'm saying? The other one was a mixtape, the second one. But I put 3 albums out in the span of all this time, bro, because I was in the back of the scenes, behind the scenes, fighting with lawyers, because I said to myself, I'm not going to sign to these big labels and let these labels control my destiny, own my music, and basically tell me what and how to do what I do. I learned that you can sell 25,000 records and still make $250,000. I learned valuable lessons being out there on my own. Whereas, I'm not selling 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000 the first week like some of these artists who are not even making that much in these times. But I wasn't doing that. I'm like, if I could sell 50,000 records, bro, I made $500,000. And that's simple math. So it's like, what would you rather have? Like, would you rather just be in front of the cameras all day, flossing with all the iciest jewels and all the women around you, or you can sell 25,000, be out the way, bro, and make your $250,000, and do that once a year. I got people, I got a Czarface group, where we put out 8 projects already.
Wow.
And to be honest with you, bro, that's keeping my lights up. Not any Wu Tang. Wu Tang make an album once every 7-8 years.
Right.
You know? So for the last 7-8 years, you know, I've been living off Zyface, man, and that's some skater stoner shit. You know, weed head. You know, I found the lane to do that. It's like, yo, that's a whole nother, you know, a whole nother ball game with that. So it's like, rather than, you know, put a W on that or whatever, it's like, nah, let me just throw that out there on my own without that, see how we do, and we survive. So, you know, for the most part, if I wanted to put something out and use the W, I would approach them and say, hey, you know, I can offer you a percentage of what I'm doing, you know, or offer you a brand fee, pay a fee for the usage of the brand. You know, I learned the licensing game. I started a licensing company myself for Inspectah Deck. For anybody out there that wants to license the name Inspectah Deck and put my name on any of your products, and, you know, we want to endorse it, and it's just something that we agree with in our lifestyle and our mentality, bro, you know, you hit us up, man. You know?
Talk about that licensing a little bit. Break that down. We got many more questions, man. Definitely appreciate your time and appreciate just how, I mean, compensating you've been through all these technical issues, man. But just talk about that licensing real quick. Give some game on that if you don't mind.
Yeah, licensing group is just that, man. Like, you know, for so many years, like, just to give you a small example, something like I go online and I see an Inspectah Deck T-shirt for sale, but I'm not getting no PC of it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I look at the company who's selling it. I look at, you know, what their business rating is. You can check companies by Better Business Bureaus and see what's legitimate and what's not. And, you know, and whether it is or isn't, you know, if they're selling something that has your name and likeness on it without you being compensated for it, you have rights to be compensated. And it starts with you trademarking anything that, you know, that's your name, starting with your name. Mm-hmm. But anything you could think of. If you want to make a clothing line and you want to say, I want to call the shit, you know, fly shit, mm-hmm. You know, you trademark that. And then, you know, that process takes forward after that. So now you can, once you have that trademark, you can now license that name. So if I want to say, hey, T-shirt company, you want to license my name? You make the T-shirts, whatever, you know, I'm hands-free. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's just as simple as that. You can do as many license deals as you want for whatever you want. But what it is, it's a way to shut down anything else with that name. You know, where so now people come to you. When the people look for Pepsi, it's trademark. They're not going to mistake Pepsi for any other brand. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's what it is with your own brand. So, you know, hip hop underground podcast, TM, you know, I don't want to see no T-shirts, you know, that's Frank White, Nickelback gets sold in the park, I want in. If right. Shit be going down with my name on it, you know, the least you can do before I shut it down is to cut me in.
Right. I appreciate the knowledge that you shared with us and with the people out there that's going to listen to this. I want to go back a little bit. Just got a couple more questions, like Brother Sandman said. Talk Tupac and Biggie for Wu Tang, and how did that change after the Tupac and Biggie beef? How did it change for you guys, and what was your perception of that whole thing?
Yeah, it's kind of deep on both sides, but you know, for me to keep it brief on that, like being part of who I'm part of, being Wu Tang at that time, bro, we was looked at in two lights, you know what I'm saying? Like, the West Coast was showing us love at the time. The West Coast didn't feel like Wu-Tang had nothing to do with any of that. And then there was the East Coast who felt like, y'all East Coast, y'all should be repping. Y'all should be up here, you know, on the front line. And how we felt was like, you know, basically how you feel in the street anyway, where it's like, yo, okay, if it's like that, then somebody throw the punch, you know? Mm-hmm. And they threw the punch. West Coast threw the punch. They threw the punch at Bad Boy, you know? And it's like, okay, well, Bad Boy got to swing back, you know. And they swung back in how they swung back, but for us, it was looked at as, yo, let them handle what they gotta handle. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a team up thing. It was just like, yo, Suge and Tupac and them was going at Puff and Big. So, you know, we gonna see what happens when the smoke clears. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna jump sides or do all that because we get money on both sides of the coast. We're not gonna jeopardize our relationship for some beef that we don't know. We don't know what that was. Only they know what that was. You know what I'm saying? When I met Pac, you know, I met Pac on a couple of occasions. When I met him, he always showed us love. You know what I'm saying? We showed him the same type of love. It's like, yo, y'all keep doing what y'all do. You know, y'all holding it down for the West Coast. And, yo, man, if I was on the East Coast, I'd fuck with y'all, man. Wu Tang. You know, it was regular conversation when we seen each other. You know, as far as Bad Boy and Big, you know, same thing, man. It was always love when we saw them. You know, they had their altercation with the purple tape where he goes and Big, you know, when they said he was jacking Nas' album and all. You know, that's competition, man. Like, you know, they handled that how they wanted to handle that. They got past that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we just at a stage now where it's like, you know, we're not going to ruin our relationships to get in the middle of they beef, you know, which I don't think was an East Coast, West Coast beef, really. It was really just them two, man.
Yeah.
You know, it was them two. And I think just the East and the West hyped it up. Like, you know, they got booed at the Source Awards. You know, I think Mobb Deep got involved in it somehow. You know, Nas got involved in it somehow. Names got thrown around. Faith got thrown in it. It started getting messy. You know what I'm saying? And I just remember being in New York when Tupac got shot in Quad Studios, and I remember being in Cali when Big got shot. You know, at the Shrine. So it was just like all of that to us was just like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like it could be like Wu Tang got wiped out for being in the middle of it too. Being out there in Cali, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the stakes was really, you know, how we was looking at it, the stakes was real high, you know, like, yo, two brothers just lost their life, you know, over this beef that ain't real, that don't exist.
Right.
You know? So it's strange, like, even to this day, you know what I'm saying?
It's even wild to think about that. Like at a certain point in time, and we lived their time. We were kids at the time, but we watched it live. That rappers and human beings could not go to different coasts. It was that real.
No fly zones, bro.
Like, whoa.
No fly zones.
Crazy times, man. But I'm glad everybody. Well, unfortunately, the legends, they didn't get through it, but most people got through intact, man. And I think that to talk about the media, man, and how it is now. Because it's only evolved throughout time. It's no different. I mean, you had the magazines then, but now you have YouTube, Instagram, all these media outlets where they're just on a click of a phone. Talk about how that's different and how that's evolved.
Yeah. Well, you know, back then, man, you know, let's say Word Up magazine, you know, Right On magazine, you know, Early Source. You know, they would run up on you with a little handheld tape recorder, man. You know, catch you in the party, got the music playing, can barely hear what you're saying, and then type out your interview in the magazine, give you a cover or give you a nice, you know, inside edition, you know, position. You know, you was able to have some type of mystique to you too, because you know, you had to actually connect the network. So if you had a name back then and you didn't connect the network, like Rakim had a name back then, but he didn't do a whole lot of interviews. He wasn't on a whole lot of the, you know, the matter of fact, the couple of hip hop shows that were out back then. But, you know, he didn't show his face a whole lot. You know, you can do that back then. Now, the whole part of, you know, an artist's selling point is basically the camera, you know, the social media. But for the journalists, the journalist kind of lost out because now there's you don't write about anything, you know. Like you can type about it and then you'll put it into a 150-word caption.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the days of you picking up the magazine, opening up the centerfold, and you could see Salt and Pepper with the tights on, with the spandex. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's gone, bro. So you know it's all manufactured now. Everything is, you know, pretty much choreographed. Like I saw a movie a while back. You know, it's an old movie with Dustin Hoffman, and it's called Mad City. And if you watch that, you kind of understand how the way things are really still today, where everything really, before it's brought to you, is brought to you by, you know, it's choreographed, it's staged, it's set up, you know, it's propped and prepped, you know, there's 100 words you could use for it. Then we give you the visual, and then we edit that, and then so we giving you the perfect image or the perfect clip or the perfect reel, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we drill that into people. We drill that into to feel like that's the perfect thing to do. That's why you got people who are making money and who are stars and celebrities like the J. Coles, the Kendricks, that stay off the radar. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They put their music out, they express what they're going through in life, and they stay out your way. Mm-hmm. You know, to basically to let you understand, bro, like all the glitz and glamour, that's the trap. You know, that's definitely the trap. So it's like, yo, like I'd rather be a humble millionaire
Word.
than just a loud motherfucker with some money.
Yeah. Definitely, man. Well, appreciate your time. I don't know if Ogadi got any more questions. Now we're going to go over here on our end, man. We definitely got to do this again. Yeah. When we can see each other face to face and make this happen, man. But for the second time, we appreciate you, the legendary Inspectah Deck.
Even, you know, extending the second effort. The next time we do it, we'll do it in person, man. I have a whole new project to talk about. You know, this album I'm doing with Tracklib. So, you know, y'all stay tuned. And, you know, thank you for the support, man. I continue to support as well.
Nah, indeed, and that's real, man. We got our own studio, man. We got our own fort. So when that interview's time, and that's right, man, you come right on down, man. We'll make that arrangement and let's make this happen the right way, man. It'll be dope.
Yes, sir.
Guaranteed, man. Appreciate all the viewers, man, that stuck around.
Appreciate you, bro. The legendary Inspectah Deck in the building of the podcast. Go follow him right now. Drop your handles before we get out of here, brother.
Yeah, I'm on the gram, man. I'm INS_TAGRAMS. Try to steal Instagram's name. If you're checking me out on Twitter, man, it's Inspectah Deck Wu. And on Facebook, man, see me at Rebellion 2020. Rebellion.2020.
Indeed. Inspectah Deck in the building, man. Appreciate your time, brother.
That's what's up. Appreciate it.
Indeed.
Peace.
One.
Another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast is in the book, Sam, man. Great one today, man.
We make them fucking happen, oh God, no matter how we got to do it.
Yeah.
We make it work. And this is why we the baddest goddamn podcast out here. Appreciate everyone that stuck around for the Inspectah Deck interview, man. We were talking about it, man, and it did not disappoint. Y'all go ahead and hit that 5-star rate. Let us know how you feel about it. There'll be a lot of changes going on, a lot of great things over here at the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. Y'all just stay tuned and rock with us, man. That's all I got, oh God.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, it's time to get people in the studio now. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to try to do, man, and start bringing you those type of interviews. But yeah, man, that way we ain't going to work, but no technical difficulties.
No, that's
no nothing. But man, if you enjoyed this interview today, go ahead and hit that 5-star rating on the podcast and make sure you subscribe for the next episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. You never know who you're going to see on the podcast. So make sure you subscribe right now and make sure you tell a friend. That's your brother Sam Ant from Viral Hip Hop News. I'm your brother, oh God, Hip Hop News Uncensored. Over and out. Peace.